that plans are great, but you have to adjust to the climate, people, things. So we make all kinds of plans, and every day I'm torturing him. What's the update? Where are we going? What are we doing? Why am I doing this? Do I have my mother's hips? Every day. Every day. So it's great to have a marketing plan, and I have a marketing company, and by the way, I would be remiss. The powerful and attractive Sam Watson is a Nashvilleian. He's back there. Sam is the CEO of CoolSpringsLife.com, a life equity strategy for high net worth individuals. We can loan you as much as $300 million at flat LIBOR plus a small banking fee. And there's a charity conduit to it, foundations and so on, which look up CoolSpringsLife.com. And Del Ferrano, who's the chief dog at Live Nation, is also my partner. There he is also my partner in Rock and Brews, which is a restaurant chain. Yesterday we got an email that they want to open one in Taipei, so there's going to be one at LAX, Tokyo, Maui, El Segundo. We do well. So I forgot what we were talking about.
Well, you did bring up Taipei, but there's something about it that works, that translates internationally. Wherever you go, South America, Europe, Asia, what is it about your music and your presentation that does work on a global level?
I have to tell you that it's not just one answer, because if you're, I don't know, Celine Dion or other very, respected artists who sold lots of records, it's the music. With Kiss, it is unparalleled. Never before, during, or since we started has any band, and it's not about hyping, it's just a statement of fact, has any band gone where Kiss has gone. In fact, Kiss has gone where no band has gone before. Sounds like Star Trek, but by some estimates, they're the 4 most recognized faces on planet Earth. I'll prove it to you. Sweden is a monarchy. That means they have a king. Does anybody in this room know what the king of Sweden looks like? That's really interesting, because everybody in Sweden knows what Kiss looks like. So marketing companies will tell you more people on planet Earth know what the faces of Kiss than the faces on Mount Rushmore. Statement of fact. I forgot your question. I just love the sound of my own voice.
Me too. I was totally mesmerized. Doc, what do you, I assume you turned down some clients and for whatever reason, but on your end, when you're signing an act and after you sign them, what do you look for in a client? What do you expect on there, and what's their responsibility?
Well, see, that's, as a manager, you're like a handicapper, okay? You kind of look at the horse and you see how it looks and how it feels, and if it has connection to things. And so it's very difficult to pick an artist because it's a lot of work, especially when they're a new artist. Okay, I mean, you have to ask them questions like, are your parents still alive? Do they get involved in your business? Because if they do, I'm out. I mean, is your husband involved in your stuff? Because I'm out. You have all these checklists. But you really look for that connection artist. And that's why with Kiss, which is the king of connection, I mean, they touch, and I've managed everybody, and I've never seen people come out of the woodwork that like Kiss fans do. I mean, all over the world. And then, I've seen so many, and why somebody would tattoo their back with 4 faces, I have no idea. Their leg,
often one face.
Yeah. It's often one face, yes. But that's part of the gay parade. That's a different thing.
And good night.
But no, it is. It's about. We have a band that we all mutually love. It's called Vintage Trouble.
Great band.
And one of the things about this that we picked was connection. It doesn't. I'm not a music snob. Okay, I don't even know if I know what I like about music, but I could care less if other people like it or not. Okay, and I listen to what I listen to. But when I have to work with something, you have to see if people connect to it. We go to showcases here every week with our offices, Greg, and everybody goes every week, and you stand there, and there's 50 people or 60 people there, and everybody's talking, they're not even watching them, and then the A&R guy goes, wait till you hear the next song. I go, I don't give a fuck if it's Let It Be, okay? These people don't get this, okay? And if they don't get this, I don't get this, I'm out. So you really got to find things like the vintage that when you walked in to see them, if there's 100 people there, 50 people, or 500 people, they're crazy. And that's like with Motley Crue. When I signed Motley Crue, I went to New Year's Evil, Santa Monica Civic Center, and I couldn't even understand what they were playing. I mean, it was just awful. I mean, it was just horrible. They were just rolling around, blowing shit up and fire and stuff. But I saw 3,000 kids standing there buying every piece of merchandise and going out of their mind. So, you don't have to be a genius to figure out, take this, clean it up, and take it around the world. It's just hard to clean up.
Well, you got there. But when you're handicapping Darius Rucker, I mean, how did that, what did you think?
That kid he's not a kid anymore, but I mean, that guy has connection. He's passionate, hardworking. That's the things that we do too. I mean, we make sure, and we've gotten rid of a bunch of artists, that because, we have a theory, when the cat shit gets bigger than the cat, you get rid of the cat, okay? And so people have to have, I mean, Gene quit school because it was recess, okay? I mean, he's 24/7 on me, okay? And I like that because he's committed. You don't have to say, well, hey, Gene, do this. Well, it was hot dog day. And I don't think I could make hot dog day. If he doesn't have something that he's already committed to, he's doing it.
Who's the fastest answer to any email you ever send, anytime, 24 hours a day?
Gene, and he also corrects my spelling. He's a school teacher, so I've been typing on my thing.
Sixth grade Spanish Harlem.
Yeah.
Where you learn on day one, when I walked in, that maricón la tuyo tu madre does not mean good morning, Jewish person.
Conversely, Gene, what do you look for out of a manager? What?
I tell you, this is not a cornball statement. This really comes from a really important word. I see it more in the Christian church than I see it anywhere else in any part of life. And I'm not a Christian. I'm either sorry to say it, but in either case, I recognize it for what it is. It's called pride. You're proud of your belief system, your commitment, your sort of evangelical zeal of it. And I have to say it, I'm amazed when a Christian comes up to you and starts telling you about his belief. There's a you get grabbed by the scruff of the neck and say, this is what and the breath of air comes in you, and you just get caught up in the passion of it. Pride and commitment of your belief. And when we introduce ourselves, I'm going to connect Kiss to Christ, so just hold on. And when we get up on that stage, I physically and just vocally abused our guy who introduces us and said, you don't understand, this is our mantra. Teaching our roadie to get up there and go, you wanted he's ripped pieces of meat fly out of his throat. You wanted the best and you got the best, the hottest man in the world. Can you say it like you goddamn son of a bitch? I'm going to find out where you live if you don't do that. You get up, make every one of those words count, because it counts. Because when you get up on that stage, for us it's holy ground. We are in electric church, and our bosses are not backstage sipping champagne, they're standing on their seats. And you owe it to your bosses to give them every bit, every cent of every dollar they bet, to go up there, pride, commitment of ownership, get up there and give them the show of their life. I think I connected it.
What a believer. So, and we talked about this before about professionalism and showing up on time, and certain acts are known for not doing that, and you gave me some memorable comments one time at the touring conference about showing up. What are your thoughts on a band that doesn't make it on stage at the time they're supposed to make it?
Well, the members of the audience or of the female set, I can't use the word that I would call a band that doesn't show up on stage. It begins with P. There are bands that were very big, whose careers went down because they just wouldn't show up on time. I forgot to tie my shoelaces, or my uncle molested my dog, or I don't know. Everybody's got an excuse. You know, and country artists do this much better than rockers. There's a respect and admiration and a thankful gesture to the fans. These fanfares are the wonder of the entertainment world. What country artists will do is stand there, and Garth was telling us about this. You'd spend hours and hours just hanging with fans and dishing with them and trying not to come off too sort of highfalutin and stuff, and it's a sense of humility. While you're up on that stage, we are the gods that walk the face of the earth. When you meet the fans, put your hand out and appreciate and treat everybody. So we go the distance, and Doc did this to us. Here's what we do. After this, I've got an event at the Hard Rock. Then we go to the concert at 4 o'clock. We grab a quick bite if we can. By 4:30, we're doing an unplugged set for fans backstage. Just plug in the full band, unplugged, taking songs that run as much as an hour. Then we go into makeup for 2 hours. Then we get up on stage and blow it up. And then it still takes us another hour to take the makeup off and do that. By the time we're done, we'll be working our butts off for 6 or 7 hours. Every show. But proud to do it. And grateful to be given the chance to walk on hallowed ground, which is the stage.
We're here, total professionals about it for 40 years now. Have you ever dropped a client for being less than that professional?
Well, that's why we drop them. When we have people that just aren't committed, it's not worth it. We don't have to manage anybody. Okay, so we only want to have the people that are committed, and we bring them. It's almost like a college, McGhee Entertainment. It's a little bit of, it's taking people like Gene and Paul that have work ethic and show everybody what that ethic is and how hard it is to make it and how hard, And so you try to get all the artists, our new artists, and we had them play last night for a little party that I thought was just awesome.
And the showstopper was that song.
Mallory Hope. Yeah, and Mallory Hope.
Mallory Hope. You'll hear a song that will blow you away.
Yeah. But it's about teaching them to be good people and to understand that when you do become popular, you have now entered a new whole way of life, and you have to be able to stay with the way you were, the way you are. You have to be a good person. You have to be responsible to yourself, to your family, your community, and if you don't, then you end up. And we don't. And he'll tell you, we don't pull any punches with anybody. If there's something wrong, if somebody would be doing a bad show, we go, you stink, okay, and you got to turn it up. You better turn it up a notch, and. I think that's really the only way you can work with people is if they're as dedicated as we are.
And give back.
Yeah.
You become a big, important rock star. That's great. Give a new band a shot. There's a new band on tour with us called The Treatment. It's a favor. It's a good band. And they'll either make it or not based on, but they're giving them a chance. The bands in the past 39 years that we've given their first tours to, either in America or Europe, AC/DC, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Cheap Trick, Rush, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. I mean, I can't stop at the thing. But the pride we have nothing to do with those bands, except besides being a band, you also have to be a fan. And as the headline act, it's your responsibility to make the entire evening a great experience for the fans. It's really that. And I will tell you, I wouldn't, even if you offered me the job, whatever, not that I could do it, I wouldn't take his job, anything. I know what I'm talking about. For a short time, I managed Liza Minnelli, okay? If ever I was going to commit suicide, it would have been at that point. My nail broke, my hair's not, no, what about the music? Well, my husband ran out, and can I stay at your place? And so he gets phone calls about anything, wives of drummers and rock and all kinds of stuff, and walk my dog. I'd kill myself. I don't know how he does it.
Where did you develop the demon walk that you come on stage? I mean, it's kind of got a Godzilla-looking aspect to it.
You know, part of it is just pragmatism. So another big word like gymnasium. Those boots, there were different versions. Those dragon boots that I wear are very difficult to walk in, and they weigh a lot. At the height, they probably weigh 12 pounds apiece, 24 pounds. So you're on stage on 7, 8-inch platform heels, and each one weighs, it's like walking around with a bowling ball on each leg. So part of it is you're swinging the weight over, and the other is to keep your legs far apart so you don't fall on your face. You know what I mean? So there's this going on instead of, like this. And also, I'm heterosexual, so I don't walk, thank you. You're a powerful and attractive man. So part of it is that, and also I was inspired by a guy named Ray Harryhausen who had a movie called 20 Million Miles to Earth. There was an alien that came by that walked a certain way. So they're all, vestiges of my childhood.
Well, it still frightens me, so thank you. How come nobody else has come up, Doc, and done what they've done and capitalized on all the aspects and grow it to the level they have, and merchandise as well as they have, and keep selling out and reinventing it? Why are they in a league of their own?
Well, it's not really hard to figure out because they actually, see, Gene didn't speak English till he was 9 years old. So, and that's why he speaks like an announcer. because he grew up, he learned to speak English from watching television.
Yep.
And that's how the announcers talked. So anyways, but he grew up with comic books. And he still is a huge comic book person. So it kind of evolved from comic books because they were all superheroes. And those things don't go away. If you look at the biggest motion pictures that are out there, they're all based on comic book characters.
Including Simmons Comics, which is now on the stand.
We'll plug Simmons once again. You'll be able to get a brochure of all of Gene's stuff with that. But I think that because when you put makeup on like these guys, I mean, when I signed them in '96, we were doing the 4 Spin covers of Spin magazine, and there was a photo shoot on the table, and I looked at it and I didn't remember because I'm always there. I go, when did you shoot this? I go, 1977. And I went, oh, well, you're just a little heavier, that's all. So anyways, I said, this could go on for hundreds of years because they don't look any different. So, I mean, bands, just because, listen, we're older too, I'm 60. And
63.
63. And I'll be 61 tomorrow. So at any rate, you have, you have this like timeless thing that goes on, and it is like a comic book character. There was 7 Supermans and Green Hornets and everything else. So it's really about the character that nobody else can do. So the other bands, even when we play with legendary bands, they don't like to have their picture taken with us because they've aged. They've aged, and we look like basically we did. So it's kind of like, I think that's one of the biggest. And when they did this, they had no idea what they were doing. They were just coming up with something, and based on mostly what Gene's background was in as far as comic book characters, and that's why I think it appeals to kids like Power Rangers, or we have Hello Kitty, we have
You mean the Kiss Hello Kitty deal that's launching in 90 countries? That's what you mean?
the same one. You could get the brochure in the bath.
Why are you in such a good mood, Gene, and laughing? I mentioned the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What's wrong with those guys?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a terrific idea. Here's what you do. You get 20 guys who go in a back room and decide everything for you. That's direct democracy for you, isn't it? Now, I believe it's a sham. The idea is wonderful, but as soon as you get disco artists, and by the way, they're terrific disco artists, Madonna and rap artists, Grandmaster Flash, that has nothing to do with rock and roll. I think you're doing them a disservice, because now Madonna can't be in the Disco Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or the pole dancing Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or whatever it is, music that she does, which is, great. I'm not saying, but if you don't play guitar and you don't pay homage to the forefathers of rock and roll, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, and 1-4-5 chords, you don't belong to rock and roll. It is the biggest slap in the face to Little Richard and Chuck Berry to have a Madonna and a Blondie in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For God's sakes, have some fucking pride.
You been in the Country Hall of Fame? Have you been through the Country Music Hall of Fame?
I'm sorry to say I have not, but that does not mean that I don't buckle my knees in front of the music that is intrinsically American. Country, rock and roll, blues was all invented right here in America. This is America's gift to the world. Europe can talk about classical music and how it has good taste, but America gave something to the world which actually tastes good. See, there's a difference.
Here on that one. And I know you like coming to Nashville, and I know you'll kick some ass tonight.
Lick some ass tonight?
Kick. A lot of explosions in those ears over the years. We're hoping to take a couple of questions from the audience if we had time. I don't know where we are on time, but this guy's been waiting around here.
Why don't you take one of these, pass it around, and Doc and I'll share.
First of all, this is quite a moment. My name is Robert Weedman. I've been a KISS fan for 35 years. Seen over 20 KISS shows. This is Doc McGhee, Gene Simmons. These guys really do work hard, and I am so honored and excited. This is my KISS day. I'm going to do the meet and greet tonight and then the show. My question, I'd like to hear a little bit about the Family Guy Coming Up connection, and then also a little bit about the KISS cruise, and then a little bit about the Monster book. Hope that wasn't too many questions.
Family Guy is a cartoon show on TV, and through Signatures and Doc and Seth MacFarlane, there's now a crossover between KISS and Family Guy. So you'll be able to see, the little baby in the diapers. You know who that is? Stu. He's going to be wearing my makeup. And diapers. So that's launching and all kinds of... But we also have KISS and Archie crossovers. There were 4 comic books, now they're coming back. Licensing and merchandising, KISS Hello Kitty. I mean, there's almost nothing we won't do except KISS Crack. With a K, of course. But there's nowhere we can't go.
What about the new record? Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Sorry?
The new record, Monster.
New record, Monster.
This comes October 7th. So we have the single out right now, and we'll be launching another one here in a couple of weeks. It's on Universal.
Produced by Paul Stanley.
Produced by Paul Stanley. And so it's all tied in for the next 2 years to this whole theme of KISS Monster. So we have a Monster cruise that goes on Halloween. It's a 4-day cruise from Miami to a private island, 3,000 KISS fans. On this boat, we have 11 bands that are performing. And KISS performs 3 shows, and actually 4 because we do the acoustic on the sail. We did it last year, and it was actually a lot of fun. So we decided to make it an annual event on Halloween, and so that really kind of kicks off our KISS Monster stuff. because we'll be finishing Mexico City in September, the end of September, with Motley Crue, and then we start our whole Monster campaign coming in October.
This guy in the back looks particularly urgent.
Hey, thanks for being here. Really incredible insight. I had a quick question about the idea of the veil of mystery.
The veil of mystery. So at one point, fans could not really get as close or sort of inside. They had the day-to-day.
Again, hindsight's 20/20. We're given a lot more credit than we deserve, but it started off as four guys with a notion of looking different and acting different, writing our own songs. In other words, imprinting ourselves. This is who we are. Sort of like what animals do that. They pee on the ground, they say, this is my property. I'm not like you, I'm like me. So we wanted to be different than everybody else, and so one of the ways of doing that is visually. We had no clue I'd be sitting here in front of you almost 40 years later, digesting that we were just like 20 to 22-year-old kids off the streets of New York, like little kids in a mud, playing with mud. So, but we did have the right idea. The right idea was how incensed we were by seeing our favorite bands get up on stage because we wanted to hear the songs. What we didn't really know, without being able to verbalize it, is that we wanted to listen with our eyes. A live experience is visual. A lot of bands that we grew up with came out with a Persian carpet, lit some incense, then looked down on their shoes when they started playing. They'd go, where's the show? So we didn't understand, couldn't verbalize it, but we had the right idea, which is when people come to see you live, they want to hear the music and they want to see you live. And KISS happened so fast. 1974 was our first tour. By 1976, we have warehouses in Burbank, in California, that were fulfilling t-shirts and everything else. Within 2 years, we're playing Anaheim Stadium, Atlanta Stadium, and fulfilling licensing and merchandising because we put the order forms right in the records. Nothing had ever been done like that before. And of course, the critics all thought that we were, just idiots and kid stuff. I've buried them in the backyard, you see. I have a very large backyard. And so all the critics, listen, we appreciate where you come from, but it's time to get out of your mommy's basement because you've never done anything and you're an unnecessary life form on the face of the planet. So whenever anybody points a finger at you, do not judge lest ye be judged. In other words, nice commentary, asshole. What have you done with your life? Show me the qualification for the critique. I went off on a tangent, but I love it anyway.
I think also, to answer your question about the mystique, I think it goes back to the comic book characters too. You never wanted to see who was behind that face. So they would always wear a garbage bag or a garbage can or something with eyes cut out. So the mystique was back then that you never knew who the actual people were. You knew who the characters were. And I think that that's helped tremendously in the longevity of KISS.
And look how fast it happened without YouTube or any kind of social or whatever.
Let me tell you how long ago this was. When we first brought out our first record, 16 tracks is what we recorded it on, not 24. When we came out with our first album, transistor radios were just coming out. Color television was just coming out. We had 5 or 6 TV channels. There was no ultra-high frequency. There was no FM, was in its infancy. You're talking about right after the wheel was invented, before technology. No computers, no text, no MTV, no videos. They didn't even have the words for it. So we were thrilled to be going on the afternoon show called the Mike Douglas Show, which housewives watched, came out of Philadelphia. And I had to go out there and sit next to comedians, you know, one of the first words they said was, "You can't fool me, look at that Jewish hook out of a nose," you know. They completely destroyed us. But this is in its infancy. People think life has always been like this. No, it hasn't. A short time ago, we were in the Stone Age.
You did it one fan at a time and by kicking their ass on stage, not licking, kicking. Mildly. So that's how you do it without YouTube. Question?
First off, accolades. You two are personally 2 of 3 of my top business mentors, and
Oh, really? Who's the third?
Hugh Hefner.
Sorry?
Hugh Hefner. Heard of him?
No one?
Yeah. Anyway, you guys have all done pretty well for yourselves and a wonderful career and made tons of money doing wonderful things like rock and roll and babysitting. Anyway, but in your 60s, you guys now, you know, we've seen the history, we've seen the success. How do you know what your next new venture is going to be? What drives you to spark a new business, to take a different path than, say, rock and roll or marketing? How do you know when you've got that next idea, other than the hard work and dedication, if there's a product or a different business venture that you're totally taking a left turn from what you guys have already succeeded at?
I think to me, it's just a matter of staying on your path, what you do in life. And I know for me, I don't do things for money. Okay, I do it. They give me a lot of money because I do great things, but that isn't what drives me to do something. What drives me to do something is the passion of what I want to do. And if, like Gene is 24/7 on certain things, but he's on his path. He knows his lane, and he stays in his lane, and he only takes on things that are in his lane, that he knows that he can control and operate. I think that's a very, very important thing for people. People like to swerve all the time and think, well, I'm a big manager, so I can be a restaurateur. No, you can't. You can represent it, but you're going to be a great manager or rock star. You stay in that lane. You find people that have that lane, that know their business. You know, you work with great people, and that's where we decide to move into different fields. When we know that we have a Sam Watson, or we have a Del Ferrano, or we have somebody that is in that lane that knows it, and we stay in our lane.
Nobody knows everything. That sounds like a double negative, and it is. It sort of means you don't know it all. And whether you're on a soccer team, a political team, or you're the corner of a table, or you're the tires on a car, you can't lift all the heavy stuff by yourself. The front wheels are going to turn left. In the back, you don't have to do that. But the front, workload is much higher than the back, but every wheel is just as important, which is a simplified overview of my business model. I am ravenous. I can't wait to get up every day and do all kinds of stuff. Most of the things I get involved with, I'm completely unqualified to get involved with, but I bring a certain resonance. Again, you may be using words that you may not. I bring a certain resonance with me and an expertise, perhaps, that some other people might not have. It's called sweat equity, in my case. But I like teams. I like to be partnered with other people. I'm managed by Doc. He doesn't do what I do, and I don't do what he does, but together we're much stronger. Because if I had to do everything that he would do for us, I'd hang myself. It's just too much, and I wouldn't be qualified. And his tongue isn't as long as mine, so you see it kind of works out.
And I wouldn't wear that outfit anyways, I can tell you that.
But also, mine has a spin and dry cycle and can whip up a good goddamn froth. And so any partnership that little pregnant pause so you can continue laughing. So any partnership really, in your life and mine, has to do with getting the highest level quality of people who share the same work ethic and are nice people and can do something that you can't, because together you'll be much bigger and much better at doing something. You need great partners.
Tonight, when you hit that stage in Nashville and you get that intro and the lights go down, is it going to be as exciting as it ever was?
No sugar-coated conversation. I have been on stage with 104-degree temperature. I've never lost a show, ever. I got a cold, my colostomy bag broke, you know, never. That's that one I have to write down. That's a new, I haven't used that one yet. Because one day, you know.
Actually, we do have the covers, the Kiss covers.
The Kiss colostomy bag. With a straw additive, but that's just a few. All right, settle down, don't get excited. But in all honesty, it is a battle cry. You know, I've got aches and pains when we do 3 in a row. It's physically demanding. We walk out of it. You know, there are some artists, I'm sad to say, who go backstage when the drum solo happens and they squirt water on their face. You know, look at me, I'm sweating. It's real sweat, folks. Yeah, we work hard for the money, excuse me, during the summer. And when we hit that stage with pride. And even when I don't feel like it, you know, I go back up or this, my back hurts, whatever. You hear that battle cry, and you hear, yes, the roar of the crowd and the smell of the grease paint. You go out there and you make it count. It is really it's a Kiss crusade.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy gets nuts during the show. And he sweats and he's got shit all over his face. And
I was like to come in
and he comes over and come off the stage for a second, and like the pyro didn't go off or something like this. So he grabs me and starts spitting his shit all over me. And I'm trying to get away. I'm going, yeah, okay, all right, I'll have the guy shot, drug through the street. But he gets so involved in the show. I mean, I have to just say a funny story on this tour. This is one of my favorite ones. Gene does his bass solo, right? And when he does his bass solo, he has all these effects. And, you know, sound like, oh, wow, all this stuff, right? Well, he had a new bass tech. So he's out there, and there's no effect at all. And he's just sitting there going, ding, ding. And I'm standing on the side of the stage going, oh, fuck. He's going to go out of his mind. So now he figures he might as well finish his bass solo, which is just like a beginner, if you heard a beginner bass player, because he plays all these notes. And he's just going, bing, bing. And I'm standing there laughing, and all of a sudden he goes to fly. And it doesn't move. And he's standing there for about, it seemed like probably an hour, but I would say 15, 20 seconds. And he's like this. I was looking around, and we're just crying on the side of the stage. And so we had to review it was like the second show, right? And so we review the show every night. We go through it to see how we bettered the show and stuff. And we played that back 20 times. It was like having Candy Shack for the bus. We just kept watching that.
It's happened before. We played to 90-some thousand people in Melbourne, I think.
Yeah.
And it's 110 degrees, sweating like cats and dogs. Middle of the day, you can't hide anything. And we just bought brand new flying gear. It's supposed to go at 8 feet a second and fly me up to the top of the light truss, 50, 60 feet above the ground. I'm supposed to be flying. Even if you can see the strings, you just are going to be amazed by it. And I get in there and I feel my power and give the clue. And about 2-3 feet off the stage, I'm hanging there, and I had to come on stage with a ladder.
But he's still like this.
Middle of the show.
I mean, I'm serious. He's hanging there. He's about 3 feet off the ground. Because what happens is he gets so excited. We didn't know this, but he gets excited, so he kind of jumps up. And what that does is it sends a sensor that stops it. Because they think it's slack and it has to be tight, right? So he jumps up, so he goes up 3 feet, and he weighs so much with his costume I've got 4 ringers over there trying to pick his ass up and try to unhook me, and he's still like this. It was hysterical.
But when it works, it's awesome.
Here we go from the audience.
Oh, I know.
I had a quick question in regard to, has KISS ever, obviously if you've done any other musical collaborations with other artists, if not, is there anyone that you guys could see yourself collaborating with that you'd be interested in?
I have to say that I'm guilty of putting out our own KISS tribute album. Instead of waiting for other people, if you're going to throw a party for yourself, don't wait for somebody else to throw it. So I literally walked into then president with Paul, who thought I was going to hit him up for a live record so we can get $2 million. And in the same conversation I said, I'm doing a KISS tribute album. I'll take care of all the details. I'll call all the artists and get it done. I think this was right before we started working together. And he said, okay, here's another $2 million, go and do a tribute record. So I call up everybody. So in the short run, I had Madonna doing I Was Made for Loving You, and like everybody. And by the time the managers and the record companies got, wait a minute, because the deals I made were $7,000 for a track. That's it, no points on the record, no nothing. But by the time they caught on and tried to stop me, I had Garth Brooks, and we teamed up with Garth to do Hard Luck Woman, one take, right here in Nashville. And that was an experience because it shows what a true professional can do without, endless takes and everything. Just bang, just get in there, hit it once, and it was a great sort of reminder that the first 2 Beatles albums were done in 2 days, that Led Zeppelin 1 was made in 18 hours, and that Tusk by Fleetwood Mac took 1.5 years. So there's no proof that the longer you take in the studio, the better your stuff is. So, and we also had Lenny Kravitz on the record with Stevie Wonder on the same track, and it was a big star-studded event. But the highlight for us, all of us, was grabbing our guitars, getting on a commercial flight, coming to Nashville, and coming in just down home with Garth and doing it. That was an experience.
Congratulations on the wedding, by the way. I didn't get a chance to do that.
I'm married.
I never thought I would hear that out of Gene.
I don't know how we went.
Yeah, I've been such a fucking dog all my life. Just a bad, arrogant guy. Anyway, my beautiful wife Shannon put up with my sorry ass for 28 years. 28 years. She knows where all the bodies are buried, and for decades I was taking photos of, like tourists. If you've been there, you take a photo of it. So we had a burning together. We took the photos and we burned them together. She's upstairs listening to every goddamn word I'm saying. Now in fact, I've got some watches for her. Okay.
Wow,
That's her anniversary.
congratulations on that as well.
She doesn't get to keep it, but she'd wear it for a day. He has to bring it back tomorrow.
Doc arranged for everything.
The combination on that is 666, by the way. We got time for one more?
Time for 1 or 2 more.
In the middle there, young lady.
In terms of work ethic, with the co-bill that you're doing now, Doc, did it take some convincing on your part, or how is it? Who came up with the crew, and they seem like they have a different work ethic than maybe Gene's used to or Kiss is used to. Whose idea was it, and how did that go forward?
Well, I mean, we always look for the best package, like Kiss Aerosmith or something, because you want to give, people the bang for the buck. If you're going to come, let them have a great night of music, and throw somebody that we think is really good on at the beginning to make some noise. But truly, I mean, with Motley, we've been, I found Motley, about 104 years ago, and so I know they have a work ethic like us, because we've worked with them for so long. We knew that we could put together a different show, because it is similar in the sense that they're flashy, they're like a circus, they're a lot like Kiss, you know, and they emulated Kiss in the early days. And so what we tried to do is to put together two different shows. And if you come tonight, you see how different they are. They're completely different shows. They don't even, I mean, there are some things, there are some explosions in theirs and some in ours. We only have 840 shots of pyro in our show, so at any rate, so I think that as far as the crews and the way that they work with each other is fantastic. I mean, Robert and Patrick have worked together forever, all of our techs. The bands, we just had a party last night with just Kiss and Molly down at the Spot. I had a bunch of artists play, and everybody gets along amazing. Everybody has the same respect for everybody, and you know something? When you have two great bands out there, both of them have to be great every night. They're not going to mail it in one night, because they know that they got to go out there and perform. So it really gives the people a great show. You don't get that off night from the bands, because they're out there, no matter what anybody says, whether it's country or whether it's rock, when somebody goes out on that stage, they want to win. Okay, they definitely want to win. So it's kind of like a prize fight every night.
It's been a great tour, and it's been a great interview. I want to thank you guys for your time. It's been fun, ladies and gentlemen. Doc McGhee and Gene Simmons.